Welcome back. How's that coffee for you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, mimosas, coffee.
Inspiration, motivation, we got it all. So next up on Good Morning Wilmington here on the Plaza is a man that needs no introduction, but I'm gonna need you to do this. Pull out your cell phones right now, right? And go to Instagram and go to Wolf WSE, right? I'm telling you, this guy here, and I ran across him from my homegirl Tam. This guy here, some people say he is better, and I'm gonna attest to this, and I'm gonna agree all the way. Kevin Samuels. There's a lot of guys out there giving a relationship advice, but you haven't heard anything like this from his brother, the Wolf. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good.
Welcome.
I would say thank you for the warm introduction. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, I'm honored to have you, man. I'm honored to have you. But first, this is what I'm sorry, Vin.
No, it's okay.
I want to know where the heck you get this wisdom from, man, because a lot of people are talking like this guy been here before.
Yeah. I honestly would have to just accredit it to God, like first and foremost, and then just experiences. And the reason I accredit it to God because I feel like it's nothing that I haven't experienced that I didn't have to go on and talk about, right? And I feel like it's one thing to know something, but when you experience it, then you understand it. And when you understand it, then you can deliver it to somebody else in a way that they can understand. So I feel like my wisdom just comes from my experiences. You know what they say, we are best suited to serve who we once was. So by going through it, it allowed me to tell other people how to get through it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I love
right,
that. I love
right.
that.
So may I ask the name, the Wolf?
Yeah.
I was on your website, I was researching, and I was, reading a little bit about you, your background, and for someone who's meeting for the first time and doesn't know who you are, give us a little background.
So the name, I just felt like me and all my friends growing up, we always referred to ourselves as wolves because we like to say like we travel in a pack, And if you know the innate characteristics of a wolf, they represent loyalty, they represent unity, they represent love, leadership, different things like that. How I became the wolf is because I always was a leader. So, we all referred to ourselves as wolves. They called me the wolf because it was almost like the leader of the pack. And it's just been something that I embodied. It's more of a lifestyle than anything else. I even got it tattooed because it just is symbolic to who I am and what I represent.
How did you get started giving this inspiration out? I don't even call it, look, giving the facts out.
Honestly, it was just about, I'll say this, I'll credit it to my mom just giving me the space to be vocal as a child, right? And I encourage parents till to this day. My mom always said to me, I'm not always right, so I want to hear what my kids had to say, but I just had to be respectful with it. So that gave me the confidence to speak up.
Right.
Because if I could tell my own mom, like, Mom, I don't agree, or this is how I see it.
This is a black mom at that.
Of course.
right.
And she never took it personal, and I think it just gave me that confidence that I needed. And then, like I said, I just felt like I'll sit back and I won't say much. And I always listen to what's not being said. And if it's a perspective that haven't been introduced, I want to bring it to the table because it's like, oh, you've seen it like that, but you missed out on a whole nother way to view it.
Right.
And because I see life as a subjective thing, you got to be able to take into account all different perspectives. You know what I mean? To be able to give real insight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before it was one subject that I saw that I want to touch on. But I want to talk about your books.
Okay.
The Art of Accountability and Cheating is Not Cheating.
Yeah.
All right. New books coming out? Or that's already out?
No, they both available. This just came out, and this was released during the pandemic in 2020.
Okay. Explain this. Cheating is not cheating.
I knew we was going there. All right, so I'll just say this, right? It is a play on words. Now, it's a factual statement. Many people read the title and they judge it. They're like, what? Cheating is cheating. Now, listen, I said cheating is not cheating. I never said a cheater is not a cheater. So I just want to say that. And there's no page that justifies the act of cheating in my book. But I do break it down. Cheating is not cheating because it's subjective and perspective based, meaning all three of us share this platform, but we don't have to have the same ideologies of what we see fit for our relationship.
Right.
I encourage the conversation. Like before you get with a partner, ask them, what is their boundaries? What do they see as cheating? Because most people get ridiculed for things that they didn't even know that they was doing that was wrong. Be like, oh, I like the picture. I didn't know that you thought that was cheating. Or, yeah, I had friends that are opposite sex before I met you. I didn't know that you, but if you never had that communication, now you have unnecessary turmoil in a relationship. This encourages setting those boundaries. You know what I mean? Understanding, what you view, because it makes you tap into your own mind. Like, dang, what do I see as cheating, right? So cheating is not cheating because it's subjective and perspective based, and there's no universal law that says this is cheating.
Right.
Like, you can't pull up a definition outside of the textbook definition of it being the deceived to gain an unfair advantage. Cheating is not cheating from a relationship standpoint because everybody see it differently. So what works for Vincenzo might not work for Ivan or the Wolf. And I just want people to have that conversation so we can avoid the unnecessary turmoil.
I like it. I get it.
So let's just bring it back a little bit. What is a relationship coach?
It's a good question. So people typically think relationship coaching is just comprised of like romantic relationships, but first relationship that has to be healthy is the one with yourself, right? So
Thank you.
that's the most important relationship,
Yes.
and I feel like is romantic relationships, it's friendships, it's business relationships, it's parent to child, it's parent to parent. And for me, which is where the art of accountability came in, was just about building better relationships with yourself through honest self-reflection. And if I'm better within me, I can view the world from an unbiased perspective, and then I can connect with others better because I'm coming authentically from who I am. So that's kind of my philosophy when I coach. I always isolate somebody from whatever their experiences are. Because the difference between coaching and therapy is a great tool and people need it. And I think it works hand in hand with coaching, right? Because I go to therapy still. Right. But therapy focuses a lot on the past. Coaching is more so to the future. What's the goal? Right? And therapy has those same, it goes the same direction. But for me, I don't stay that much on it. I go, okay, this is what it is. All right, but what is the goal?
Right.
And let me give you whatever you need to get there, whatever tools I can provide.
Right. So you all not only coach couples, but friends.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe a father, son,
Yeah.
mother, daughter, or whatever variation it may be. But you coach multiple people,
Yes,
not
yes.
just relationships.
No.
And I like that. I like that. That really paints that picture a little bit more than what your services you offer. So let's talk about, maybe we can dive into that a little bit in more detail about your services and how people can look them up and what you offer.
Yeah, so the way I got different packages, right? Where though some people might just want to come to me to vent, right? You know, somebody just want to listen and air, somebody that don't know the people they're talking about.
That's a huge thing right there. People just want to vent.
Just want to vent. So they'll pay me for a vent session. That's like my most popular. And then I have coaching packages that's geared towards what you're working on. So somebody might be in their last year of school and they're like, listen, like I don't have the energy to keep going. I need that accountability partner that's going to push me, you know, and they might get a package that's indicated. Or somebody might want to learn better communication, because I consider myself to be a communication specialist, right? But I think people always talk about communication, right? But communication is the key. Communication is the key. But understanding is the door. Right. So you can communicate all you want, but if somebody don't understand where you're coming from, they won't even open up to the idea of what you're saying. So somebody might want to get better in that. Like, how can I understand my daughter better? How can I understand my partner better? And then I can play the role of, let me see how they're communicating and where is it going in your mind? And that's unpack what's blocking you from understanding where they're coming from. So, you know, that's a way. But to be able to find the services is on my website, thewolfhasspoken.com. And I'll be honest, I'll create a package for somebody. Like somebody might just come to me like, I don't even know what I want, but we're gonna figure it out. And I'll be like, all right, well, this is what we're gonna do, and then we get there. So, you know, it's pretty much to each his own, whatever you want.
So you have a show called The Couch, right? Let's talk about that. Like, what are some of the subjects, some of the people that comes in and sits on the couch with you?
So I got the.
I like The Couch.
It's
It's like another play on words, which just happens to be, you know, like a therapist couch.
Exactly. There you hit it on the money. So it's that's exactly what it is. It's about having therapeutic conversations with your favorite influencers, entrepreneurs, public figures, and just, you know, getting people in that vulnerable space and taking them outside of, say if this is a celebrity who doesn't usually express themselves outside of what they do on their platform, I want to bring them down to the couch. Like you said, similar to therapy, because we're having therapeutic conversations. So I just wanted to create that platform as a vehicle to give people the opportunity to not talk about problems, but talk about the problem, then focus on the solution. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, it's no shortage on podcasts where you can hear a problem that's happening, like what you don't like. For me, it's like, all right, let's hear it, but okay, what's next? And the couch is something that it's just steadily growing. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing it kind of grow as time
It's
continues.
working. It's definitely working. Because it's like so much wisdom. But most of all, what it is the call of action, right? It's like, you know, like how I make my videos also is problem, solution, call to action, right? And what a lot of people want to hear is what they're not getting is the solution, right? Or what the problem, you're getting either or. And with you're doing that, people are going to listen all day long. What is the best advice that you gave someone? So I know you heard a lot. I know you gave a lot. I know you hear a lot of people.
I think to answer that, so I'm gonna say, right, I feel like I give good advice to the situation, but if I had to give advice in this moment, I would just say, I always tell people to be yourself, and what that means is go back to who you was as a child, because we knew who we were when we were kids. Somewhere along the lines of society, we lost track of who we were, right? So I try to get people to go, like, what was your dream coming up before the trends, before the trauma, before the things that made you lose your innocence and your imagination? What is that? and just trying to get people back attached to that, because if we can attach to ourselves again, then we can attach to others. But if we feel like we need the outside external validation first, we coming into the world already behind the 8 ball, because now I'm allowing your opinion to dictate who I am, right? So I always try to separate. I said my big thing is isolation. Isolate them from the material things. Isolate them from the opinions of others. What do you think about you?
Right.
See, I'm gonna tell you this, the reason I put a mirror on my cover, because the mirror does not lie. When you look in the mirror, you're gonna see if you have a blemish, if you have a pimple, if you have a gut, if you have anything, when you look in that mirror, you're gonna get an honest look at what people see you as. Right. And if you can look in that mirror and see what you see and see what you wanna change, then you could change it. But if you don't wanna look in the mirror, every time somebody give you the mirror, you wanna turn it towards them because you don't wanna face yourself, then you'll never be able to find yourself. And I feel like even when it comes to chasing your dreams, like I'm doing something that I did as a kid, you know what I mean? And that's the ultimate goal. You know, I feel like nobody is happy because nobody knows. There's a difference between being content and complacent.
Yeah.
And I feel like people focus, they think that content is being happy, complacent is being stuck. We have to find contentness to be happy. Like you have to find a partner, like this is the person I'm building with.
Right.
You have to find a home, this is the home I'm building in. You have to find a career, this is the career I'm gonna grow in. And you can get content with that, but don't get complacent. I'm gonna get this home, but I'm gonna elevate it. I'm gonna get this partner, but we're gonna grow together. I'm gonna get in this career, but I'm gonna try to go to the highest level. And you know, it all attaches to going back to who you are as a person.
You talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Partners, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm with you, you with me.
Yeah.
And it's all about team.
Yes.
Right. You had on one of your podcasts the word. So you the conversation about submitting.
Yes.
Right. And submission is such a horrible. People view it as a horrible word.
Yeah.
It's just scary. You know, you get married. I think what the vow is this. No, is this? It don't say obey. It say submit. Right. But when people hear submit, they tend to like, that's an ugly word.
Yeah. It has a negative connotation and narrative and stigma. So
Can you talk about that real quick for the people that are watching? Because I think that was really awesome the way he broke it down.
Yeah, so and specifically, I was saying that submitting, for one, like it takes a lot of strength to be able to give up your way of doing things in order to be able to, you know, I won't even use the word subdue, but be able to follow the lead of your partner. So I feel like when we look at submission from a standpoint, somebody asked me, was it submission or slavery or something like that? And I'm like, it shouldn't be something that you are against, because at the end of the day, when you look at it, and I'm drawing a blank here, I'm sorry, because I got so much information that's going through my mind right now, and I want to make sure that I'm getting my message is not getting lost in translation. But I feel like it can't be 2 quarterbacks on the team, right? So growing up, we played sports, and we had to submit to the coach, right? So you don't always submit, don't mean you have to agree. Right? It just means you have to trust. And that's where the partnership come in at. If you know that the person you're submitting to has your best interest at heart, like as a man, I could submit to my girlfriend in the kitchen because I trust that she's going to prepare the right meal. So if it's my time to make a financial decision or make a decision that's going to protect my family or put us in a good position, I don't want it to be a battle, right? It's like sometimes when I was playing football, my coach might have called a play that I didn't think was going to work. But I'm not the coach. He might have a different perspective, and I have to trust the fact that he has the best intentions for me. And when it comes to relationships, I feel like when you're partners with somebody, you have to trust that they have the best intentions. So when you're submitting, you're not submitting to them, you're submitting to the bigger picture. Right. You're submitting to the fact that it might not make sense to me, but it might make sense for the kids.
I'm sorry to interrupt, would you consider that compromising?
See, so compromising and settling, all of these different words, I feel like have a negative stigma. So when you listen, it's not about necessarily the words you use, but it's how people interpret them, right? So somebody be like, oh, you should compromise, but then they feel like if I compromise, I'm settling. I don't think it's that. I think that it's about adjusting. Right? It's like, okay, this is how I see things, but this might not be, I might not have a full perspective on how things should be. So I trust that you have my best interest at heart, so I can submit to that. The beauty in having a man in the house, me growing up, I had to submit to my stepfather. I didn't have my biological father in the house, but my stepdad was a man, and he led, and he put me in a position to understand that at some point you're going to have to lead. But while you're in here, this is how things is going to be done. So they say you have to be the tail before you can be the head. So submission is something that you should want to do. Even when you're a young man and you have a male figure and you might have to serve them so you can learn how you can be served. And from our standpoint of being leaders in a household as husbands or boyfriends or whatever that companionship might be, you have to understand that if somebody is going to submit to you, you got to make sure that you have their best interest at heart as well, because you can't expect somebody to follow you if you're not leading with their best intentions. So, I encourage submission, and I think that anybody out, it just creates barriers to not. You cannot have 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. You got to find another important role to play and serve just like, the leader has to serve.
Right. There we have it. I think we're getting the show on that. Yeah. Can the church get an amen? Look, what you guys say?
Yeah, so I wanted to, again, I love talking to our guests before we start filming, because I feel like I really get to connect real quick before we start the show. And I was mentioning this earlier, but I feel like it was really important that we talk about it on camera. So I mentioned about a success story that you may be willing to share. You don't have to mention names, but I think it'd be really awesome if you could share one with us.
So this is my success story or a success story in general?
Something or someone that you really want to share, a story that really makes, you know, what you're doing have meaning or purpose.
All right, cool. I'll keep it brief for the sake of time, but I'll just go back to my own self, just being premature. I was born when my mom was like just shy of 7 months, maybe a little over 7 months pregnant. And I had a very, very, very slim chance of living. And the beginning phases of my life was spent in the hospital, a lot of time. And in that time in the hospital, I had to spend a lot of time with myself and my thoughts, just thinking. And it was a lot of things that the doctors had said to me, like, you know, I wasn't going to be a certain height, I wouldn't live to be a certain age, I wasn't medically cleared to play sports. And I was receiving so many no's that the moment I got that one yes from one of the doctors when they was like, oh, you are medically cleared to play sports, that was all of the inspiration I needed to tell myself I was never going to let nobody else tell me no again. So everything I ever wanted to do from the beginning of that moment, I just said, you know what? I'm never going to take life for granted. I'm never going to take the moment for granted, no opportunity for granted. And I'm going to put as much value into the world as I possibly can because God just gave me an opportunity. That one yes was all it took. So for me, the success is I learned from my failures, but I fell forward. Falling forward is messing up, realizing where you went wrong, and keeping it going. And that's how we sit here, and now I'm an author. So, you know, I want anybody that's out there that might be watching this, I want you to know you don't have to like how you started your story, but being an author is about picking up the pen and writing from this day forward. What do you want that story to look like? So, you know, that's just me. That's my success. And I'm still I'm still an author. I'm still writing, and the story is still being told. And it's still a success in process. So
thank you.
Love
Thank
it,
you for
love it,
sharing
love
that.
it.
That's
the
really
wolf has
awesome.
spoken.
The wolf
has spoken.
Tell everybody
I
that's
love
your camera. Tell everyone where they can get your product, where they can learn more. The whole. You guys, go ahead. You got time, man.
Listen, follow me on Instagram at WolfWSC. You can get me on Christian Mingle. No, I'm not on
Oh,
Christian
shoot.
Mingle.
Y'all the president.
No, I'm joking. But the wolfhasspoken.com for all of my products. And I want to give a special shout out to Tam. Love you. Appreciate everything you do for me and my family. So, yeah, shout out to Delaware, too. DSU, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Good Morning Wilmington. Again, much continued success. Good luck with all the books. And then when you get the third book out, call Ivan.
Call us.
Come on the show.
Look, it's open, man. You Tam, you fam. You know what I mean? You with Tam, you fam.
I love it. Yes.
Feel free.
And I thank you. Well, we thank you for helping others and helping others find their purpose, find their light and positivity, because that's what really you're doing. You're just helping them. You're opening up their mind to receiving, or maybe just being a listener. And sometimes that's important too. So thank you for finding your purpose to help others and pay it forward.
Thank y'all for the platform.
Appreciate that, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
My man.
Of course.